This week, in the 8th part of the History of Outdoor Sculpture in New York City, we are looking at the works of John Quincy Adams Ward. This occasional series of blog posts will highlight the most important of the outdoor sculptures in New York City and provide some historical and art historical context. Previous posts have looked at the subjects of outdoor sculptures. In the first post in this series, we saw sculptures of animals and politicians. Then we saw military and literary heroes. The third post had memorials to the Civil War. And the fourth post, figures active before 1800, including founding fathers. The fifth was on businessmen, and the sixth was on figures in the arts. With this post, we begin looking at sculptors who were famous in New York City and throughout America. John Quincy Adams Ward, born Urbana, Ohio, 1830, died in New York, 1910, was known for 50-odd years as the Dean of American Sculpture. As many others did, Ward began his career as an assistant. The first major project to which his name is attached is Henry Kirk Brown's Washington at Union Square, which was dedicated in 1856. Ward set up a studio in New York City, but his works are installed all along the East Coast, in Vermont, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, District of Columbia, Virginia, and South Carolina. Far earlier than his contemporaries, Ward believed that American sculptors should present American ideas and be trained in America. He never studied abroad. With Indian Hunter, 1869, which was in Central Park, Ward established his reputation. Not coincidentally, it was a uniquely American subject, as was his earlier figurine, small figure, the Freedman, which is at the Metropolitan Museum. The anonymous Civil War soldier in Central Park, which is the 7th Regiment Memorial, is another early work by Ward. Ward's fame, however, came from doing portraits that clearly evoke the character as well as the appearance of the sitter. These are the other works by Ward that are standing outdoors in New York City. Here's Shakespeare on the left, George Washington, who overlooks Wall Street, and William Earl Dodge. Those are the 1880s. Then we move on to the Pilgrim in Central Park, Horace Greeley, who is now in City Hall Park but was on the Tribune's building, and Alexander Lyman Holly, who is famous for his work in steelmaking. This is Henry Ward Beecher on the left, who's famous as an abolitionist, Roscoe Conkling, a New York State politician, and the pediment from the New York Stock Exchange, an allegorical group entitled Integrity Protecting the Works of Man. Ward was a teacher and a mentor as well as an artist. Among his students was Daniel Chester French, whose works we'll look at in a few weeks. The next up in this series will be Augustus St. Gaudens. DianeDurantewriter.com has hundreds of posts on sculpture, painting, architecture, and my other obsessions. To join the free Sunday recommendations email list, visit the URL on the screen or email me. And you can say, "Well done, Diane," or support my work and receive rewards by means of the tip jar on DianeDurantewriter.com. As always, thank you for listening.